All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Oh my gosh. It's already Thursday again, so you guys know what time it is. It's Unstuck Your Business Live. My name is Matt Beard. It's the first time you're tuning in. I'm a real estate investor here in Phoenix, Arizona. We buy properties nationwide, like most of you folks probably do as well, or you probably heard that before. But this live is dedicated to virtual assistants, building out your business and how you can find leverage. Guys, you're probably aware at this point that I am one of the owners over at vahub.com. We are able to do these things. I'm able to do a live at 10:30 in the morning on a Thursday because I have leverage in my business. I have folks that are out there doing the things that need to get done, so I can do the things that, number one, I need to get done, the high level stuff, but also the stuff that I want to do. So like coming live and doing this fun stuff. So hopefully on these episodes as we go on, I think we've been doing these almost every week for, I think it's going to be a year in May. So it's going to be a ton of fun. And I'll always look forward to doing these things. So hopefully you guys are able to learn from these things. You're able to watch and then start implementing in your business, so you can find similar leverage, so you can do the things that matter most and do the things you want to do, right? I think that's ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom is doing the things you want to do when you want to do them on your terms, not worrying about, money, not worrying about time, doing the stuff you want to do. Maybe that's your success. Like a lot of folks get wrapped up in, I want to get 20 deals a month, or I want to make, whatever, $200,000 a month. I want this ridiculous number. Like, hey, that's great. Go for it. Be the best. But like, what do you really want? Like, what is your plan? Like, what do you want to do with that money? What do you like? What is 20 deals to you? Why is that important? Or are you just trying to prove someone else wrong? Are you trying to prove it to someone else? You're trying to prove you, right? Is that what's going to give you value? So I want you guys to ask yourself good questions too as we get going. You start building your business, because you'll learn that you'll start making some money, and the money does not mean, you heard this before, but money does not mean happiness. Money certainly helps, man. Money gives you the opportunity to do so many different things, but it doesn't give you happiness, right? That's an inside job. So guys, as you watch this stuff, hopefully you're able to implement it. Your business starts to grow. But hopefully you do it on your terms, right? So as you guys tune in, you're coming in. I'm looking in the comment section here. Please put in the comment section, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at. I want to know where you guys are at in the country. What are you doing in your business right now? And where do you want to go? Like, what do you need help with? That's the purpose of doing these lives. We always do a little bit of Q&A at the end. So the series starts now, guys. The series of CRM hacks starts now. It's a 3-part series. And I'm excited to share this with you guys. Today is the first part. And as you can probably tell from the thumbnail, we're going to be going over lead flow, how to do proper lead flow. And I'm excited to share this with you guys. And let's just jump right in. I want to get straight to the point with you. And of course, if you guys have questions along the way, please put it in the comment section, so I can help you guys with whatever you may need. But yeah, let's get right into the nuts and bolts of it. I'm actually going to share my screen and go over a few things here. Okay. So lead flow, you got to ask yourself a few questions. Okay. And I'm going to share a flow chart. Okay. I'm going to be down here in the corner. So what you want to ask yourself as you're doing lead flow is 3 things, right? I'm going to bring a little text bar over here. You ask yourself 3 things. The first thing is who am I trying to market to, right? What is a lead? So who is that person, right? This is where you typically would put a list, right? So my who is pre-foreclosures. My who is my driving for dollar list, right? Maybe that's my 2 people. Let's just focus on 2. 1 being pre-foreclosure, 2 being driving for dollars. Okay, you guys get the point there. So that's your first question you got to ask yourself. And you'll see how this ties into the CRM. But first, before you can even get into lead flow and doing all these things, it's all about asking yourself good questions. So who is your who? Who are the people that you're trying to serve? Not everyone is your dream client. Not everyone needs your service. Not everyone is going to sell you their house, and you don't have enough money to reach everyone. Not unless you have like $1 billion, right? Or just a ridiculous amount of ad spend you can spend every single month. Don't have enough money to reach everyone. So stop thinking that you got to, because you don't. You can build a multi-million-dollar business focusing on a small amount of people. So who is the people, right? Who are your dream customers? Who are your dream clients to work with a real estate transaction, right? we know right here, I can look at, okay, my who in this particular case, pre-foreclosures and drive for dollars. I know these people have some sort of inherent financial distress, or it seems to be that way, because for either they haven't been able to pay their mortgage or they haven't been able to fix their house and it looks like crap, right? Like, how are they living in there? It has a bunch of deferred maintenance. So there's some stuff going on here. So this is my who, right? Now, where am I marketing? Where am I marketing, right? As in, where can I find them, right? Who is my who? These are people who want to sell their property at a discount, but where are they located? Where, like, what market am I in? Okay. So maybe we're going to do this in Florida. We're going to do this in Phoenix. Well, I'll just do Arizona for the state. And maybe we'll do this in Texas, right? What I don't want you guys to feel like you have to do, which is very common right now, is so many people feel like they got to open up in like 5 different markets, man. Like, Arizona is one of the most competitive markets in the country, and I could literally just stay here. Even though it is super competitive, I can stay here and build a massive business in one market. So I would say go deep, stay narrow, go deep in one market. Don't try to spread yourself out too thin because you hear someone doing a deal in Michigan and this other person doing a deal in Indiana and this other person doing a deal in Virginia and all these places. Like, ooh, I want to market there. Ooh, I want to market there. Do not have the shiny object syndrome. Again, guys, it's a big, costly error. If you think it's the market that you're in is at fault for not getting deals. It is not the market. You can get a deal in any market if you do it right. The last thing you want to do is hop into a market, spend a bunch of money, not get any deals, pull out, go to this other market, get some opportunities, none of them close. Well, that sucks. Let me go to another market, right? Find one that you can go deep. If you have $30,000 to spend a month, $40,000 a month, big lesson that I've learned is I tried to spread it out. I'm like, oh, we got some money now. Let's go ahead and try here and try here and try there. And all of a sudden the deals went poosh, right? So close this one, close that one, go all in back on a few markets, deals start going back up again, right? So I want you guys to start learning from this and learn from my mistakes, okay? And take that and make it your own, okay? So who, and then where can I find them? And then how am I going to market to them? How am I going to market to them? The who, the where, and the how, okay? So we're just getting started, guys. What's some easy ways to market to these people, right? An easy way to market to them is cold calling. You can cold call. That is a very cost-effective way to reach someone right now. You have SMS. So guys, look, I know if like this video might be dated just from me saying this, right? The strategies and the hows always change. Okay, you want to say that right now. In April of 2021, SMS is still a thing. Cold calling is still a thing. So we can talk about it. And that's one of the best strategies right now. But I want you guys to understand, in December or January or next year this time could be completely different. So the hows always change. What doesn't change is my who and my where. I'm still looking for the same people and I'm still looking in the same market, right? But how I reach them will change. Okay. That is for sure how it's going to be. Okay. The how will change, but right now, cold calling and very efficient. Okay. So let's look at that. So if we're cold calling and we're doing SMS, so what's our steps to cold calling, right? I think you can also ask yourself another question here. Once you have your who, where, and how, like the last question that you may want to ask yourself is what, right? So what am I going to use to find them? This is where your tools, right? This is your tools. So what are you going to use? Don't go try a bunch of different tools. Don't go try a bunch of different CRMs. They all work if you use them properly. We talked about last week how to set up your call tools. Obviously, that's one of our biggest tools. It's one of our biggest whats. But what are you using, right? What is you have your power dialer, right? You need to have some SMS platform, right? You probably need somewhere to organize your data. I think you can really build a solid business just off of very few tools once you get that right. Because if you use batch you use batch leads, you can organize your data and pull lists there at the same spot. So that's your what. Okay, now let's get into lead flow. Okay, looking at our tools. Number one, we have, let me put in lead flow here. Lead flow. This is organizing. Now we want to organize our CRM. We want to organize our CRM to be able to take these leads. So now we have our who. We know who we're looking for. We know where we want to market to them. We know how we want to reach them. Great. Cold calling and SMS. Perfect. Now, how do you field those leads? Your cold calling, your VA is cold calling. Your VA is sending out text. Hopefully that's how it's happening, right? But I mean, this would obviously be you too if you're the one doing your cold calling, but you want to have some place to go. So your lead, you do your outbound marketing, right? So we'll go ahead and put outbound here. So you do your outbound marketing. This is your proactive marketing. This is your, you're not waiting for people to call you, not setting out bandit signs and hoping for the best, right? Those things certainly work, but I don't know about you guys, but I wanted to get my business started really, really fast. So let's do that, right? So we go lead flow. We start with outbound marketing. Okay. What's our outbound marketing here? Okay. So we have our cold calling, and then we also have our SMS, right? Now, depending on what tool you guys use, you can link this with your CRM. So what we're breaking down today, guys, is a Podio, right? Our entire CRM is built here on Podio. It's called Bomb CRM. It's how we do everything. And I got a blank space to show you guys how we do these things today. So basic lead flow, before I can go in there, this is literally the process that I take, guys. Before I decide a new market, before I decide on a new list, before I decide on how we're marketing for the month, I come into Lucid Chart and I start making a flow chart, right? And I'm just like spitballing and putting things down, how, like, what I feel would be best, depending on the market, depending on the list, the campaigns, these kind of things. So my outbound marketing, I'm going to do cold calling, okay? And I'm going to do SMS. All right. Now, again, depending on your tools, there's some cool things that can happen here. What we do is we'll think about now, like, who do we want to market to? So we know we're going to cold call pre-foreclosures. There's honestly, you'll text through this data very, very, very quickly. So you want to be careful with that. But we're going to cold call our pre-foreclosure and driving for dollars. We have we are on a limited budget here, but I know these are my people. So that's who we're going to call, and we are going to text as well. Now, the reason why sometimes is different, guys, is because SMS allows you to get through your data very quickly. So sometimes if I have bigger data sets, I might just have a small SMS campaign running on those bigger lists, not really expecting the greatest response rate, but there may be something there. And since it doesn't take manpower for me to physically have to, hey, do you want to sell your property? Hey, do you want to sell your property? It's just always going. It allows us to get through bigger data sets quickly. I would never put that same list on someone to cold call because it would take forever to get through. Okay. But in this particular case, these are two very niche lists. So we'll probably call and text them both. We can take our manpower and we can call these lists. Now, when we have, we're now cold calling these people. We're now SMS. We're texting these people. How do we take these leads? Well, the cool thing you can do on these tools, like call tools, you guys can see, this is our actual call tools platform. Okay. Under call tools, if you go to settings, there's this thing called a webhook. Okay. So call tools has an open API for you guys who aren't, setting up Podio and doing all the integrations yourself. We actually have a full development team and support team at Bomb CRM that could do this for you. But if this is a tool you use, obviously this doesn't come standard with Bomb CRM because everybody has their own tools, right? Everybody's like, I use Mojo, I use InCall, I use Call Tools, whatever. We use Call Tools. So like whatever you may want to integrate into your CRM can certainly be done. Most of them have an open API. So, with the open API, we can integrate it with your Podio, and using a webhook, whenever an agent clicks a certain disposition, right? Appointment set could be the disposition. Qualification could be set as the disposition. If whatever that may be, they click that button, it can automatically shoot it over to your CRM. right? And you can do something very similar with most text platforms too that have that open API using a webhook. It can send it directly into your CRM. You would create a different app for it. And what I mean by that, guys, is you can see here, this is your traditional apps with Bomb CRM. If you wanted to have one that just linked call tools, our developers would just make a separate app that's called Call Tools. So it stores all the leads that are pushed through from Call Tools. As soon as it gets pushed through from Call Tools, it can go into opportunities because this is where all of our leads go into. Okay. So going back to the flow chart, pre-foreclosures and driving for dollar, we now have to say, okay, we've now called them. How do we push that over, right? So from here, qualified lead that passes 4 pillars, right? Okay, I'll probably just copy and paste this from both ways. Now, my favorite way to push leads over to our CRM is not using those webhooks. You can certainly do it, but I like having all of the agent's notes that are a little bit more, robust, like more information. And when you put all your information in Call Tools, sometimes some of that doesn't track over, right? So what I like to do is all of our agents use what's called a web form. So if you have Podio, there's a web form attached to every single app on your platforms here. So if you click this little wrench, you can go to web form, and you can see this would be what our agents see. So everyone pushes their leads here. So it'd be first name, last name, phone number, email, marketing method, qualifier, qualification notes. So I care about all those things. I want to see the notes. I want to see very robust notes. Now, of course, I can add more stuff here because what a web form does, it just basically aggregates the data, pulls the data from the app itself and puts it into like a fillable form. So everything that's in the Opportunities app is clickable. So I can add more stuff. So like I can, as far as property card, I can just do the address, right? There you see. I can do the type of property. I can do the Zestimate on it, all those things. Or I don't have to do any of it, and it will generate it all for me, right? If I back out, it'll probably fix this. Leave. But the main thing I want to show you guys is that is what a web form looks like, and that's how we push all of our leads. So a qualified lead that passes the 4 pillars will get pushed into Podio regardless, right? So if they're asking retail, fine. I don't care. As long as there is motivation on that lead, we'll push it through because it's at least worth a conversation from our team, right? So I'll go ahead and join these both here. So let's just say push to Podio. Okay. So regardless of how we reach out to them, if they pass the 4 pillars, put pillars. But if they pass the 4 pillars, we'll push those to Podio. Okay. Now, once they get in Podio, what happens next? What's our lead flow? Okay. We want to give that person a call. This is where you follow up. This is where the conveyor belt takes place. So once we push the Podio, what I have in my mind's eye is we want to give them a qualification call. This is done by our lead managers. If you're just getting started, maybe you are your own lead manager. Maybe it's your acquisition team who doesn't have enough leads to work a full-blown, full day worth of acquisition, right? This is where they fit in, okay? So once that lead is pushed to Podio, we give them a qualification call, meaning that our agents, either texting or cold calling, has reached out to that lead. They said yes, they raised their hand. They said yes, they're interested in selling. We want to go deeper. We want to figure out if this is really a tire kicker or if this is someone who's serious about selling their property. Okay. So we need to have a qualification call. All right. Qualification call is huge. Of the qualification, we now know there's going to be 3 outcomes, guys. 3 outcomes. We talked about this before. If you guys know the 3 outcomes, put it in the chat box over there, because I'm gonna look at those here in a second as I draw all this stuff out. So what's gonna happen of the 3 things? First thing that happen is it is gonna be a seller lead, meaning that they're ready to sell. We call those seller leads. We don't call them seller leads until they've had a qualification call. They're just an opportunity. Okay. So it's either going to be a seller lead. They're ready to sell. Yes, it's actually legit. They're ready to go. Let's push it to the acquisition side. Or someone is like, you know what? We told them that we'd want to sell maybe in 90 days, or, to be honest with you, it's probably going to be like 6 months. Call us back in December, whatever happens. They're not ready to make a decision right now. Okay. This is most people. They're not ready to go right now. So we put them on a follow-up. So we consider that a follow-up. Okay. And then the third and last outcome is just a dead lead. It's just not someone, they're just a tire kicker that was playing games, and I guess our cold caller didn't pick up on it, and whatever happened, they're no longer want to sell their property, or they never did. Right. So that's the three things. And based on those three things, we put them in three different buckets. Right. Obviously the dead lead goes nowhere. The seller lead, right, for lead flow, the seller lead will go to the acquisition team. And this is called the Leads app. Okay. It's a separate app. Our acquisition team, who has the actual closing calls, they work out of a separate app than our lead managers do. Okay. But again, guys, if you're just getting started, maybe that's both together for now until you have enough leads to where you can separate it. I just want you guys to see big picture how this works. Okay. So acquisition team, they will go into the Leads app. All right. Follow up. This will actually stay in the lead managing. This will stay in the lead managing bucket, and the follow up will be in the follow up app. And it is our lead manager's job to do the follow up. Lead managers do the actual follow up. Okay. So, but it's going to be separated. Again, I want every app to be as clean as possible. The leads that are in opportunities, if they're still in opportunities because we haven't found one of those three things yet, maybe they haven't answered the phone, right? Is it a seller lead? Is it a follow-up? Or is it dead? If it's still in opportunities, and it tells me that we haven't found the answer to that yet, right? But once we do, we separate them so everything's nice and clean, okay? And then, of course, dead, we just delete, okay? So that's I'll just highlight this thing red. So we don't even follow up, but that's the end of that. And guys, it's okay to delete stuff from your CRM. It's okay to remove people that are dead weight. The idea of having a customer relations manager is to actually have real people in there, not people that you're hoping to make a deal. If everything works out great and it's the perfect case scenario and all these things happen, that's pointless, right? You want your people, you want yourself to be the most efficient you can possibly be while you're doing the actual job. Okay. So don't like having too many people that aren't really ready to sell. It's going to bog your sales team down. It's going to bog you down by having to make the calls and saying, oh, no, this person isn't interested. Oh, this person isn't interested. No, they never said they wanted to sell. Get rid of all those people, right? I don't care if they want to sell another 6 to 12 months. If they say no right now, and some people are like, well, I'm afraid if I call back in 12 months, maybe they'd want to sell. It's like, great. Maybe they'll pop up again if they are, but I'm not losing sight of what's important today in the next 3 months for my business. And those are the people that need my help now, or the people who said, clearly told me they want me to follow up with them. Okay. So don't be afraid to delete them, guys. So once the lead flow comes in, right, and it becomes a seller lead, which the actual acquisition team works those things. Their job is to get the deal signed, right? Get deal signed. If they're unable to get the deal signed, then they will also follow up too, right? So if they're talking to someone and they are like, you know what, after, going through this, we decided that maybe right now isn't the best time, then of course they can easily push those leads to the follow-up app too. Okay. And once it hits the follow-up app, our lead managers follow up, not the acquisition team. Lead managers, right? They've already had that initial conversation, so it's easy to pick it up, and it keeps our acquisition team focused on who's ready to make, where's our next deal coming from, who wants to sign today, where's our deals coming from today. That's what I want my acquisition team doing. The follow-up stuff, lead managing. Okay, so I want you guys to see the line in the sand there. But if the acquisition team talks to the seller, gets the deal signed, and then we go through the whole process of generating the contract, getting the contract signed, sending out to our buyers, doing the whole thing. Okay. So This is how we do it. And I mean, likewise, guys, if the lead manager is doing follow-up and they're now ready to sell, they go both ways, right? Follow-up will touch back with the acquisition. Acquisition will touch with the follow-up. They work hand in hand, and the lead managers work very, very, very closely with the acquisition team. So I say all of this, and I talk about the lead flow on a flow chart here, and I want you guys to draw yours out. It doesn't have to be this. Like, what do you want? You can go crazy on this thing, but I wanted to give you guys a brief rundown of it today. When you're talking about lead flow, before you can even worry about a CRM, it's got to make sense up here, right? It's got to make sense up in your own head for your business. Like, how do you want it to be? And the greatest thing about Podio, once you figure out how you want it to be, you can make it however you want it to be, right? So if I head over to opportunities, I said what. So one of the ways that I track the way that I track this up here, the who, sorry, not the what, the who, the way that I track that is by my actual marketing campaigns. So, where it says here on the web form, let me go back to the web form where it says marketing method. That's where we track the how we're going to reach them. But as far as like, if I wanted to track what lists are working, if I want to track, which ones, where's this lead coming from, pre-foreclosures, or is it coming from, driving for dollars? Very simple. All I have to do is I can actually edit, like all this stuff can be edited. It's crazy. I can come in here and modify the template. And if I wanted to add, we have our statuses, we have our actions. Maybe here where it says marketing method, you guys can see SMS, cold call, RVM, Facebook, Instagram, joint venture. Like that's standard with the CRM. But if I wanted to add like particular marketing campaigns, I can simply go, I can make a category field, right? And I can go marketing campaign. And I can call this, pre-foreclosure. And I can call this driving for dollars, right? And then whatever else you do, if you do bandit signs, like you can do that here. Bandit signs, maybe you do door knocking, like whatever you do. The greatest thing about a category field is now that it's saved, it's in the template. So like I was showing you guys, you can go back to your web form, especially if you have VAs doing this. You can add that into your web form as far as the configuration is concerned. Not JV partners, opportunities. So let me go here back to web form. Here we are. And I can click marketing campaign right here. It would pop up over here. And then I can choose of the selection. There we go. Hopefully. Okay. Well, typically, guys, it's not working here for the live, but by editing the template, I can then put it onto my web form. So then my agents can choose what it's working, right? So I can keep track of my KPIs. Is it door knocking that this lead is coming from? Is it coming from my pre-foreclosure cold calling? Is it coming from my driving for dollars? Like, so I know what's working and where we need to spend more time and more money. So the greatest thing about first asking yourself these questions, first asking, who it is and where they're at, I can then edit my CRM to fit exactly that, right? So if I also wanted to go into my opportunities app and say, okay, well, if I'm marketing in 3 different markets, I want to know more than just, is it my pre-foreclosure, my driving for dollars? Is it my pre-foreclosure list in Florida? Or is it my pre-foreclosure list in, whatever market? Arizona? Is it in Texas? Like what state is working? Because the purpose of doing all that, guys, is you can see here on the left-hand side, you can organize your leads. So let's just say, I'm going to add an opportunity here. Let's just say Matt Beard, 555-555-1111. Property card. Let's just do Lemon Street. There we go. Perfect. And then I can save this opportunity, right? But the greatest thing after it comes in, every lead comes in as a new lead, right? And you'll see here on the main view, new lead. So I can essentially sort out my data accordingly. So if I want to sort just my new leads so I can follow up with those people, I can do that here. And by the same token, if I created another field like I did for marketing campaign, if I created another field like that for market, then I can sort all my Florida leads. I can sort all my Texas leads. I can sort all my Arizona leads in one easy place. You guys may see this here that you may not see in your workspace. This little bulk edit, power export, power sync, power filters. I use a tool on top of Bomb CRM called Power Tools. I highly recommend it because if you want to do like bulk changes, it's very hard to go one by one into your CRM. It's easier to do it with Power Tools. So you guys want to take note of that. Power Tools is freaking amazing. Is amazing. So there you go. That's how we add the leads. But again, before I can even go into doing efficient, effective lead flow, I first have to ask myself these questions. So then I can structure my CRM to fit my specific needs, right? And that's the greatest thing about having Bomb CRM or, having Podio where it's built on Podio, because it's completely customizable to your business, right? Because everyone does something a little bit different. We all do a lot of the same things, cold calling and texting, but we market to different folks. We go in different areas. It's important to track the key metrics in your business. Everybody knows KPIs, right? But how do you do that? Like, how do you get your report? How do you get it in a way that's easy for you to see? And that's by having everything organized in your CRM. So when that lead comes in and it's that nice flow, you can see exactly where it's coming from. So you know how your marketing money is being spent, like how well is it being spent. So guys, the CRM is very simple after that point. Once our lead comes into opportunities, you guys can see, actually, I don't even see it here. We break it up into, we basically duplicated this app, okay? For our specific business, for our specific flow, we duplicated this app right here, opportunities, and we made 3 apps out of it. That was those 3 apps I just told you, right? Number 1, your opportunities. A duplicated version is the seller leads, where only the acquisition team works out of for the newest leads. And then we have the follow-up app where only the leads that are in follow-up sequences and follow-up, like physical follow-ups, sit in that app. And next week, we're going to be talking about follow-up hacks, is where I'm going to show you guys how we actually break down our follow-up app. It's going to be a ton of fun, and it's going to be really cool. So hopefully you guys tune in for that. But ultimately, it's an assembly line process, right? Lead comes in, we market accordingly. We're trying to find those 3 things from, once it comes in from cold calling or SMS, we need to find out, are they ready to sell? Or does it need follow-up? Or is it a tire kicker? It's a dead lead. Let's delete it, right? Once we find those 3 things, we market accordingly. We get it out of our opportunities app. We either put it in seller leads or we put it into the follow-up app. And then from there, once they're ready to sign, the acquisition team signs, it goes into our offer app. And guys in our offer app, we can actually generate purchase contracts here. It's as simple as I can choose myself, right? And it chooses that property card. This is a new one. Whoever is the acquisition rep working this, so you make sure they get their commission, right? Our offer amount, our inspection days, our earnest money amount. This is typically filled out, like it's automatically generated, but we typically give them 24 hours. Closing date, whatever the seller tells you, the title agency, right? We'll use our title agency. Any additional terms that you were with the seller, like, oh, I need this, I need that, I need post-possession, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You can enter that in additional terms. Makes it really, really, really easy. And then you can just save the offer, right? And once you save the offer, you can click send via right signature, and our offers get sent from our Podio, which is super duper cool. Everything's done in one spot. So once it's signed, it goes into our transactions. Now this is where our disposition team works out of, right? They take that deal and they get it sold. It creates an inventory item for that property. So that's how we market it, right? It takes the photos, we can attach it into the inventory app. Any specific buyers that like to buy in those zip codes would be in the inventory app, right? So everything's linked together from start to finish, from the time the opportunity comes in all the way till we get the deal sold. But to have the lead flow that you want, you need to be asking yourselves your question and trying to stay narrow. Okay, guys, don't go crazy. Like, don't get the shiny object syndrome. Don't think that everyone is your dream client. In reality, the more narrow you can be and go super duper deep with serving whoever that person is, the more successful you're going to be, and you're going to spend way less money. Everybody talks about making $50, $60, $70,000, but no one talks about how much money they're spending to make that money. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I want to make some money, but I want to take some money home, right? Gross revenue doesn't mean anything. What are you putting in your pocket? Okay. So doing these things and talking, doing these CRM hacks and making sure you guys have a CRM that's set up to your specifications as we talk through the next 3 weeks. I want you guys to ask yourself these questions so you can be efficient with the money you spend, and you don't just it's very easy in this business. You start making some money, you get a big check, you start throwing away thousands of dollars and you don't even realize it. You look up, he's like, oh my gosh, where did it all go? And you're hustling trying to get another deal. Don't do that. I've been there. That is not a good place to be. So guys, let me answer some questions here. I'm going to pull this over so I can read it. Okay. So Facebook user says, so you don't have your cold caller call your texting campaigns? Yeah, we do. Right. So maybe I'm running. So if we're cold calling and texting, so maybe I have a texting campaign as well as the same campaign that was on the cold calling, but I'll also maybe do bigger data sets as well. Right. So everybody gets text. That's a given. But our cold calling is a little bit more niche because that takes manpower. Okay. Love it. Love it. Love it. What's up, guys? What's up? Sorry, I'm just not getting to the questions. That was a lot of like content stuff, less context, more like actual doing the thing. So if you guys don't have Lucidchart, you can get a free trial. It's pretty cool. I love using Lucidchart. It really helps me. Like if I have just like a bunch of stuff on my mind, I just like throw it onto a flow chart and see if I can make sense of it all. Okay. And another question, if I sign up with Bomb CRM as I'm going to be, could I have your team put my call tools and REI reply? And yes, absolutely. We got your back. And just let us know ahead of time that that's going to be your plan, so we can make sure we can be proactive early in the beginning. So as soon as you sign up, we can get that stuff, start getting it set up, because there's going to be some stuff that we need from you, like, access to, if you have to share with us your API for call tools, and our support team may have to get in under like maybe a user profile that you have in there, so they can make sure the webhook and everything is set up properly, but we can definitely do it. So happy to do that for sure. Does this MLS have predictive analytics AI? So this MLS, so we're talking about a CRM today. But as far as like when we pull data for the property, it aggregates the data from like the 3 main websites, right? So Zillow, Realtor, and Redfin. It'll aggregate that data for you. And it can do all kind of stuff. Like it can even put together like what your maximum allowable offer is, and it can basically underwrite the deal for you. But what I found is, you guys know as well as I do, sometimes it takes an actual human to underwrite a property to see what you'd be most comfortable contracting it for. So I don't really trust, just a CRM to say, Matt, you can pay $182 for this. I'd rather underwrite the property too and look at it and say, maybe I can pay $195, right? Or no, I can't pay $182, right? So keep that in there. But yes, it can definitely do some cool stuff. What is the app is that you're using for Flowchart? It's called Lucidchart. Lucidchart, I think it's just lucidchart.com. Let's see here. I had a guy make a custom CRM environment with all automations. Whenever I had a question about it, it takes a long time to respond. Is there a customer service with Bomb CRM? Like I won't have to wait. Yes, 100%. Like that's one of the biggest things, right? Number one, Bomb CRM, we wanted to make it simple, because I went the same route. I had someone make me a custom CRM, but it was really a copy of a copy of a copy of some dude who I've never met before, has a bunch of integrations that I'll never, ever, 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 ever use, right? So I wanted like some practical things that we actually are going to use in our CRM. And one of our biggest costs at, having that company is having the support, because it's so necessary. So many times, we have like a ticketing service. So if you have an issue with CRM, you ticket it. Our support team, support@bombcrm.com, is always around 24/7. They're actually live in Macedonia, so they work like during the night. Their time is during the day our time. So typically it works out. So we always have support. We always have support for our folks. So absolutely, man. Let's see. So that's what we have, Bomb CRM. But again, start with Lucidchart. Even when like you come over to Bomb CRM, start with Lucidchart and figure out who is it that you want to market to, and how you're going to do that. Okay. So ask yourself those questions. having trouble setting up Podio. Podio is very, I don't know. I'm not a techie person, so I needed help. I needed to have a developer help me do all these things and make sense of it all. I know the macro stuff, but the micro, going into Globiflow and setting up the actual flow and the integrations, not my forte. But what I can do is I can make a great flow chart and say, hey guys, this is exactly what I want it to do. And I'll hand that off to our support team and they'll be like, boom, perfect, got it done. Right. So that if that's where you guys are, if you're like me, not that techie, I can definitely make a flow chart and I can give that to the support team. So if you use batch to SMS, you have to export and upload to a dialer to call. 100%. Yep. And that's why we have admin VAs to do that for us. So if you use batch to send your text, you're going to need to export that list, format it for the dialer, and put it in. But yes, it is worth it. And again, I don't just call everybody. We call a very niche, like more niche list that we're going to put our actual manpower on. We'll text just about everyone, right? Because the way current texting is right now in 2021 of April, it's easy to just do a big text blast. That's going to change here very, 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 very soon, probably within the next 2 months. But for now, make the most of it. But that's the reason why if I'm going to call, it needs to be a smaller data set, not calling just anyone. So hopefully you guys understand that one. Podio is tough, man. That's why I got to have a support team for sure. Because you can obviously get the free version and put the apps in there, but you won't get the integrations and the flow that you need without having Globiflow and then editing Globiflow, and it becomes this whole thing. So having support is huge, 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 huge. What's up, my man? Joe, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. You should make your CRM name Batch CRM, right? That would be cool. Batch CRM. Hey, Bomb CRM is pretty cool. It's like bomb.com and then bomb. I don't know. It was a thing for the time. And I feel like that's pretty good. So, yeah, guys, bombcrm.com. If you want a copy of our CRM, how we do it and the ideology behind it and why that flow works so well by keeping it so simple, because it's not just simple for you. It's simple for the rest of the team. It's easy for you to train on. And it's a great foundation to build on. Not to say that your business is always going to be that way. You might start adding different avenues, different streams, like different marketing things. You want to add an app for your probate attorneys. You want to add an app for this, that, and the other. Greatest thing about doing it on Podio is you can add those things. You can customize it to be whatever you want it to be. But again, guys, going back to this flow chart, please ask yourself good questions, make that flow chart, and then go to your CRM. So number one, it makes sense up here, but then it's just super easy and smooth. So guys, I hope you got some value from today. This was Unstuck Your Business. This was CRM hacks doing lead flow. So again, Lucidchart is what I use for all my flow charts. Bomb CRM is our CRM. Happy to help any way that we possibly can. If you want, please send me an email, mattbeard@vahub.com. If you have any questions on this video, if you got some value today, as always, guys, please like it. Please share it. If you haven't already, head over to my YouTube channel. It's a little cartoon guy. It's just Matthew Beard. Hit subscribe. We go live every single Thursday, and I do lives every single morning too. So it's a ton of fun. I love you guys coming in and freaking participating and make this fun. I love the questions. And I may choose one of these for the Yo Matt this weekend, where I just choose a question and answer it on my YouTube channel. So I love it, love it, guys. Thank you for coming and participating. I hope y'all have a great Thursday. Tomorrow is Batch Driven Live, talking about door knocking and driving for dollars. So that should be fun. I want to see you guys there too. But without further ado, let's get back to work, y'all. Let's go get some deals. I'll talk to you guys soon. We'll see you next time. Peace.